This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. We always talk about great things going on in the community. My co-host is Katy Huckle. Good morning, Katy.
Good morning.
We have a habit on this program of supporting local theater.
We do.
Boy, do we have a show for you.
Do you have goosebumps?
I do.
I do too.
Because I love the music of ABBA.
Well, I do too, but also the talent. To my left, we've got a bench of talent. We've got our director, Julie Van Heitzma, with us today. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So are you guys ready?
Oh, we are really ready.
Are you?
Yeah, and it's so much fun. We're just really excited to perform.
Can you tell us? I mean, this is a big undertaking, Julie. This is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge show.
Okay. How did you decide that you were ready for this and let's do it?
Well, actually, so Mamma Mia was set to start in 2020, right before, I had auditions planned the weekend after COVID shut everything down. Okay. So it was literally 2 days away from auditions. We had picked Mamma Mia then because it's such a popular show. Everyone knows the music. It's hard not to love ABBA, and it's a fun storyline. So we've had 2 years of sitting and waiting to be able to put the show on. So this one's happening.
Yes, you were chomping at the bit, literally
Yes,
chomping at the bit.
Seriously ready to do this one.
So as we're hearing this show, I do want to point out that opening night was last night. Right. So there are shows Saturday and then the following Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yes.
Also Sunday. So tomorrow is a matinee.
Okay.
Yep. So tonight at 7, tomorrow at 2, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7, and the final Saturday, 2 and 7.
So as we're listening to this, you already have a show under your belt. How well prepared are you?
We're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. This group has worked really, really, really hard. The choreography is insane, and they are killing it. So it's a gotta go see it show.
I think she just called our choreographer, Jen Reagan, insane.
Oh,
did she?
My goodness.
I think
And
that's
Jen's
what,
in the studio.
I think that's what I just heard.
That's one word. Yeah. Many words for Jen that are all good.
The community is so excited about a full musical. It's a big deal for a small community. And so I just need to say thank you to everybody for all the work that you've put in. When did rehearsals start?
We began the minute Clue closed, which was January 20?
22nd or 3rd. Auditions were the next day.
Yeah, so I was really chomping at the bit to get Mamma Mia going. And just the way things happened this year, it was kind of directing one and the next right in a row, which was a lot. So a lot of these people came to auditions the day after Clue closed. But there are a ton of new people, too. So,
that's exciting.
Yeah, we have 55 people.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I know. I want to hear about this. So, Jay, tell us who's in the studio with us today and everybody's role.
Well, we have Ann Cool, who is part of the ensemble.
All right.
Killing it. We have Shanna Grimes, who plays Rosie. We have Riley Reagan, who plays Sophie Sheridan. And I play Sam Carmichael.
And you've done so much theater in town, Jay. Tell us what makes this extra special.
Well, I think it's the familiarity for people, right? Everybody, as we've said all along, everybody loves ABBA. For those of us of a certain age, we grew up listening to it. For those of us of other ages, we grew up because our parents were listening to it, as I look at Riley. And it's you've had the movie, it's everybody is really aware of it and it's very familiar. I think you're going to have people quite literally dancing in the aisles and in their seats. There will be people that won't be able to resist. They'll stand up and they'll dance along with it. And Julie's already mentioned the choreography. The music is just so infectious. It's, we're singing background off stage even if we're not on stage for certain songs and stuff. And it's just, this cast has been, there's the whole cliche that it's a family and yada, yada. But the truth of the matter is we range from, I don't even know how young to, I don't even know how old, I don't want to say, but it's a wide, those 55 people, it's a wide range. And and everybody is just enjoying themselves and really having fun with it.
And a huge cast.
Yeah, 55 people. That includes a pit choir, which is new for us. adding some just beautiful voices for background, and they'll be right there on stage. You'll see them up there stage right, audience left, and they really add some depth to this whole thing. It's so great. I've had the chance back when we were doing rehearsals to listen from the audience section, and it just sounds amazing. It really does. So everybody, like Julie said, working so hard, and we can't wait for you to come see it.
Can we talk about the venue, because this is a new
Yes.
place for you? This is the Ellen Boss Performing Arts Center in McBain, which was built just a few years ago. How does that lend itself to this show?
Well, it's a beautiful auditorium, and so it's really a blessing to perform there. What they can do tech-wise, with lights and with sound, and then to top it off with just a beautiful atmosphere inside the auditorium, it's really fun. It has been very enjoyable. They have a couple guys there who do their tech, their lights, and their sound that thoroughly enjoy what they do. So they've had fun creating the visual effects and the sound effects, and they play with it every night. I even had to say last night, like, okay, are you going to stop playing at some point? I need to know what's going to happen. But it's just been a great venue. It really is.
I will name check one of those guys is former CDY weather forecaster Dylan Rodenbaugh, who is in charge of that place.
Okay.
He runs that place. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty
Well,
cool.
and for anybody who's met Mr. Ellenbass, I'm sure he is tickled pink. This is his vision. This was his dream to bring
Yes.
this to the community. And then to have you guys all there. It's one of those, this was what I dreamt. And so a shout out to him. Hats off to Mr. Ellenbass for giving us such a beautiful place to throw this party, if you will. That's what it's going to be, Jay. I want to talk to Riley Reagan for a minute. Rich, we've got some star power in the studio with us.
I can't recall a Footliters interview that hasn't included Riley in the last few years.
Well, I know it, but I want, Riley, if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I mean, you've been to the big leagues, and now you're in community theater. Tell us a little bit about how it all started. I think people would be interested to hear from you.
Okay. I started here in Cadillac with Cadillac Footlighters. My first production was Annie with Shanna over here. And from there, I just grew to love the theater, and I loved the craft, and I just had so much fun whenever I would perform. And, you know, a couple years ago, I went out to LA for a little bit, and I spent some time working with some agents and some, you know, directors and all sorts of things, like working on doing what I love. And now I'm back here, and I'm just having the time of my life.
Well, you know what we feel? Lucky that you came home. So she's a major voice in the show, and so I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but can you sing just a little something for us?
Sure. I have a dream, a song to sing, to help me cope with anything. If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take the future, even if you fail.
That is
Wow.
beautiful.
Mom, do you have chills? I do. Mom cries loud. Jen Reagan's a choreographer in the show, is that right?
Yes, she is.
Well,
yes.
tell us something about that.
Well, this show, I have never directed, and I've directed a lot of shows. I have never directed a show with this much choreography. It's a lot, and Jen is a demanding choreographer, but it's a fabulous thing for this show because they have nailed it so well. We are so proud of, and I think this is what Jen would say if she were here. Every single person that we have put on stage has worked so hard to do the choreography how she envisioned it, and it's just gorgeous. It's
Jen,
just
we need to clarify that Jen is here. She's just off mic, so she can't defend herself. To anything you say.
But when she smiles like that, I think
Yeah.
inside she's proud. She knows that they put in the work.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be wowed. We've got someone new to theater, so let's hear it, Anne. What do you think? Are you having fun?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That's an understatement. Everybody is everybody has been so great in helping me, and it is like a family, and they've welcomed me. This is my first Footliters production. I really didn't know what to expect, and I'm just having the time of my life.
Anne's always been, Rich, a good singer and a good dancer. She just didn't bring it to the world. But so if there are other people in the community that are thinking about audition, they think they might want to put their toe in the pond, what would you tell them?
I would say go for it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm 51 years old, and I was like, I'm way too old to do this, but that has not been the case. And it's been, honestly, so much fun working with the teens, and everybody has just been so great. I would say go for it. If you have any desire at all to do it, whatever it be, I would say go for it, because everybody will be so helpful. And it's the tryout is, like, in my opinion, the hardest part.
Okay.
And so if you can get through that, then the rest of it's just gravy. It's super fun. So I would say go for it.
Okay. Yeah.
Julie, you said you have 55 in the cast. Is that everyone behind the scenes? Is that the whole group?
Actually, that's the pit choir and the ensemble, and then the main cast member roles. There are probably 5 to 8 extras beyond that who are helping out in some form.
So out of those 55, how many are newbies?
Jay?
Man, I was trying to find that before you
I
asked.
think
Here it
it's-
is. Here it is. Hold on. I think I got it. Is it 28?
Good.
I think that might be right.
That's more than half.
There's gonna be
That's
some powerful
fantastic.
energy in the room.
Does some
Yeah.
quick mental calculation. By golly, you're right, Rich. That is more than half.
I was very bad at math in high school, but 28 out of 55 I know is a little bit more than 50%. So that's about as good as I got in math.
Yep.
They're all smiling, so you know they're just excited to be a part of it. We haven't heard from you yet. Let's hear a little bit about your role in the show.
Hi, I'm Shanna. I play Rosie. She's a little bit of a character.
What does
But
that
I
mean?
wouldn't have it any other way. I like roles that are fun and goofy, and you kind of get to play with them. I've never seen the Mamma Mia movie.
Oh.
And they've all, like, told me, oh my gosh, you haven't seen it. And I said, and I don't want to see it until
Okay.
after, because I feel like if I watch the movie and the character, I'll go, oh, I should do that. But I like to develop my own character and have fun with it. And I think I've done okay.
Oh, for sure.
You did. You obviously did not want the outside influence beforehand.
No.
Yeah.
And I just found out that the person in the movie was the Ron Weasley's mom or something. One of the teenagers were telling me the other day, and they're like, oh, yeah, you're like Ron Weasley's mom. And I'm like, I'm what?
So Shannon, I mean, we don't want to spoiler, but who is Rosie in the show? What's her?
Rosie is, so there was a band back in the day, and it was Donna and the Dynamos. So it really should be Rosie and the Dynamos, because the other Dynamos aren't here. So, but she's just kind of, she lives her own lifestyle. We really kind of go for that female power thing, and.
Okay.
And then we realized maybe we want a man in the end, but
But it's optional?
not for the guy. But there's quite a chasing scene in that one. But
good.
so yeah, but it's a lot. It's been a lot of fun. Like everyone else has said, you get a family vibe when you do anything with theater, and the choreography is always a fun challenge. It's one of those things, like when you're learning it, you're like, why am I doing this? But then when you see it, you're like, oh, I get it. It makes sense now. So
If you know Shanna, she's like full of personality. She makes us all laugh on a regular basis. So that fits with Rosie perfectly.
Okay.
Yes.
And you knew that in casting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard not to know Shanna is Shanna, because
I don't know if that's a good thing.
it's
or
a
bad
great
thing.
thing. It's a great thing. Shanna does aerobics at the Y, and she's always fun, and she makes us all laugh on a regular basis, and that comes through with Rosie, so it's really fun.
I'm curious, when will you watch the movie?
Probably after. Like, I'll probably wait till, I don't know.
I totally understand where you're coming from, because I've
Yeah.
seen the movie and I can tell I'm smoldering like Pierce Brosnan, and I'm trying hard not to, but it's just I can't help it, And That's
Yeah.
a total lie. That is
That's
such
exactly
a total
why
lie.
we cast Jay in that role.
Such a total lie.
You gotta work on your smoldering a little.
I know,
bit.
right?
The hair.
I
The
can't
hair is
believe
not
the,
the same.
I can't believe the bald guy gets the girl in the end. That's what I. Spoiler alert. Sorry about that.
Tell me about costuming.
Oh, jeez. You mean costume changing? Okay, Riley. How many times do you have to change clothes?
Talk to Riley.
I have 9 costumes,
Oh my goodness
and
gracious.
almost every single one of them, I'm like backstage just
Scrambling.
running and just getting dressed and running to the other side of the stage. And I even have one change that happens on stage.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
just, it's a lot, but it's so much fun. And like seeing all the different colors, like I love Julie's direction with like assigning everyone's character like a different color.
Ooh, cool.
And so like when it all blends together, it's really awesome.
Okay, so this is a true story about the beloved Sally Goggin. She sees people as colors. I don't know if you knew this. So put her on the spot. Ooh,
Ask her what
I'm
color.
Worried about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too.
But did you know that, Rich?
No, I did not know
Okay.
that.
Sal's a frequent flyer on the show. And so ask her, put her on the spot, like Riley, these talented people, they could just produce, right? If you ask Sally how she sees you, what color, she'll have an answer right away. True.
Okay. All right.
Pretty cool.
Isn't it, Annie? Yes. It's true.
I hope it's glitter.
And glitter's
There's
not
been
a color.
so much glitter lately. Glitter is a color in my mind.
Oh, my goodness.
She doesn't have a color for you. You just sparkle in her brain.
Julie, can we go to casting? I know in community theater it's hard because you want to include everybody. But I do think there's a thrill in knowing I'm going to go in there and I'm going to need to, if I want this role, I'm going to need to be prepared. And what advice, because you direct so much, what advice do you have for somebody who wants this specific role? So it's a two-pronged question. How do they get the role? And then how do they settle on, maybe Julie says, that's not the role for you, but how about this role? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest parts about theater as a director is I know that somebody's spirit is going to feel really sad and somebody's spirit is going to be really, really excited. But people who come exceptionally prepared are people who have done some research on the show, so they kind of know who the characters are. And they have listened, if it's a musical, they've listened to the music. We always publish, we call them sides. They're just like excerpts from the script that we publish when we advertise our auditioning. And so taking the time to read through those and kind of be a little familiar with them helps everybody with like feeling more prepared when they're there. Sometimes it's totally intangible. We always talk about actors knowing their type. And sometimes your type is just not going to be that character. And then there's some actors like Jay, for instance, who is very much a character actor. So it makes him sort of a chameleon on stage because we can throw, Carmen from the producers at him and tell him to lose 20 pounds and wear skinny jeans. Or we can have him, be Sam the heartthrob in Mamma Mia. But then, for a role like Sophie in Mamma Mia, it's a very specific sort of type that people are looking for the sound and the look. And with Riley, we get a triple threat because she can dance, she can sing, and she can act. And then
you're a triple threat, Riley.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then she comes in with
watching.
these blonde curly locks, and it's like, oh, well,
hurt that she's gorgeous.
yeah,
does it?
yeah,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. No, it doesn't hurt at all.
Gonna make Jen cry again. Stop.
Yes, and people who know shows like Kelly Simons, who plays Donna beautifully, by the way, she, like me, was looking so forward to auditions 2 years ago, and then the door slammed shut on it. So I think she'd been preparing for 2 years, honestly, because it was so important to her and it meant so much to her.
Can you give me an example, Julie, of a time that you were directing where someone came in and had their heart set on a part and you ended up casting them in a different role and it was way beyond your wildest imagination?
Well, I don't know if I don't know if Jay came in with his heart set on anything for Little Shop of Horrors, which was the first show he did, but he ended up playing seven different characters in that show. It was basically all the extras.
Yep.
And some were female and some were, he was in high heels. And, Jay and I go way back because he coached volleyball at the school where my daughter went. And so I sat on a bench with him at volleyball games for years and years. And he walked into auditions and I was like, oh, this will be interesting. But yeah, sometimes you have your happy things, happy accidents, or not even really accidents. It's just you can think in your head ahead of time, like who could potentially play what character, but there's always one or two that show up at auditions that blow it out. And you just have to, it makes you sit back and reevaluate and like, okay, that person blew our socks off. And the cool thing about community theater is new people walk in and you know nothing about them except for what they present in front of you at auditions. And it's really fun sometimes to see. I mean, sometimes somebody walks in and opens their mouth and you're like, where did they come from? And oh my word. And there's a couple high school kids involved. Michael, I don't know how I say his last name. Gottlieb. Who he doesn't really care so much about the acting and singing, I think, potentially, but he is the best dancer. And every single rehearsal, it's like your eye is drawn to him all the time, and he really, really excels at that, what he does. And there's people like that all through the cast.
And so as somebody who auditioned and didn't get the role that they wanted, and they're flourishing in their role, saying that I love is it doesn't have to be your choice to be the best choice for you. Right, exactly. And, there's always more than one way you can go when you cast a show. And it's one of those unanswered questions. You never know. What if, so-and-so or... but at the end of the day, people grow into the role they have usually, and they tend to adapt and flourish in it. And my hope is that they enjoy the participation in whatever role they end up doing. Sometimes it's like a, smack you in the face, but sometimes somebody really steps up to the plate and pulls something out that you didn't know they had. And I've had that happen tons with ensemble people. Okay. Or people that are new to it and come in, and then over, X number of shows, the growth is just astronomical. And I've seen that with this season, actually, with a few newbies.
Speaking of growing into the role, that's a perfect segue for Riley. A question for Riley. How did you end up prepping for the role you're playing in Mamma Mia?
Oh my gosh. Well, playing Sophie is actually my dream role. So this is what I've wanted for such a long time, and so I'm so thankful that I get this opportunity. I do this thing where I just write down about the character's backstory almost, things that aren't brought up in the show or talked about in the show. So for me personally, I talked about how Sophie met Allie and Lisa, her best friends, and how her and Sky met on the beach one day or something. And so, I don't know, I just put lots of effort into that, and also listening to the songs and just preparing in any way that I possibly can.
Riley, you are going to blow the minds of every little girl in 6 counties. That's what's going to happen. I can feel it. And so they are. They're going to think she's a movie star. They will. And so, number one, be ready for that, giving autographs type stuff. I'm not kidding. I mean, I see that coming. And what would you say to those little girls that maybe are thinking, could I do that? Could I be that? What would you tell them?
Of course, do it. If you want to do something, I say just go for it. Like Anne was saying earlier, go for it. It is so much fun. And just, I don't know, be yourself and do what you want to do. And just try new things. It's going to be good.
And not necessarily the Footlighters, but there's so many opportunities to participate in the high schools.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They've got 10 color sweatshirts and T-shirts for this show, Rich. Tell us about. Pat Goggin is so proud of these about 10 colors because he was worried about, can we pull it off? And they are beautiful, and we're going to be seeing them, these celebrities, all over town. And I understand the audience also can buy them. Is that, or am I wrong?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about that, but
Okay.
it's a good idea.
But the cast is
The
definitely wearing
cast
them
has
around.
them, yes, for sure. And Mamma Mia is color. So, it was like, please, can we do what we can to get the logo in full color? Because I'm a color person too, kind of like Sally, and I have a color palette for the show, and these needed to be in color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jenna, I have a question for you because I can feel the energy in the room with this team of people, and 55 people total. There's this postpartum thing after a show. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Can you talk about what that's going to feel like with this group of people? And then you've got a big run coming.
With a cast this size, like we've said before, it's a family, and it's like almost like it's weird. You go like after the show is done, and you're like, what do I do? I'm missing something. Is this what free time feels like? Because I don't like it. Why am I not dancing today? Why am I not singing today? Where's Riley? Where's my people at?
My daughter.
I
my
need more
stage
glitter
daughter.
in my life. Or I need. What am I supposed to do? And it's like this whole questioning, am I doing life right anymore? When's the next play? And you start shaking in the corner, but
Theater withdrawal.
Yeah, exactly. But it is. And then you're like, okay, time to audition for a new one. You find something else, obviously, to fill, and there's usually another play around the corner.
That really ties in with how we joke that so a lot of our newcomers are in the pit choir, obviously, but we've got a number in the ensemble too. And we joke that those types of roles are the gateway drug to auditioning for bigger roles and speaking roles and whatever. Mm-hmm. That's very telling because once you've had that quote unquote drug of being in the show and enjoying it to that extent, you want to try it again. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to get the hooks out of you once you've done it once.
They're hooked.
It's hard to say no.
So we need to bring it back around here because our time is almost done. So opening night already in the rearview mirror.
Yes.
Give us the remaining show dates, show times. I know the ticketing is different for this situation.
Little bit.
You have to buy for a specific show.
Right.
Can you explain? One of you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing 7 total shows, which is different for us as well. So again, we've got tonight, the 9th at 7 p.m. We've got tomorrow, the 10th at 2 p.m., a matinee. Next weekend, it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday and Friday, the 14th and 15th at 7 p.m. And then the 16th, there'll be 2 shows, which is kind of our traditional way of closing, a matinee at 2 o'clock and a final show at 7 p.m. You do, though, because the Ellen Boss Performing Arts Center has less seating than we have in Cadillac, need to buy a ticket for a specific show. We're not necessarily anticipating selling out, but you just don't know.
I bet
We're
money on it.
We're really expecting to have some big numbers. So I wouldn't take your chance at trying to get it at the door. Some tickets may be available at the door, but I would highly encourage you go to one of our 2 outlets, Brink's Custom Framing or Horizon Books, or go to CadillacFootliters.com/tickets. And when you go there, you will see all 6 remaining dates, and you can add the day that you want. If you have flex tickets in hand, you can still use those flex tickets, but you do need to go to one of our outlets and exchange it for a ticket for a specific performance. And the last thing I want to mention, Rich, too, we did partner with Willow Market, Primo's Barbecue, and the Tap Truck. They are providing food and drink, offering that for sale at Holdship Family Funeral Home, which is across the street from the high school, directly across the street. Holdship has got some interior seating for it. They'll be there a couple of hours before every show, serving that for about an hour and a half. So if it's a 7 p.m. show, they'll be there about 5, serving till about 6:30. Matinees, they'll be there from about noon till 1:30. Greatly appreciate those partners with doing that for us because, being out in McBain, a little bit less in that community as far as things to hit. So there are some fine restaurants in McBain. Don't get me wrong, but we appreciate these partners. So
Wrap us up, Katy.
Jay, Julie, Riley, Shanna, Annie, and Jen. the entire cast of Mamma Mia and the folks that we have in the studio with us, thank you so much for bringing a beautiful production and all of your talent to our small community. We're really, really excited. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
More local chat next week, same time, same station, sponsored by Independent Bank's Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY.